I feel like this has been a pretty good week compared to the other
Yes.
weeks we've had in 2020. It's already been quite a January. But I think for the first time in a while, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling hopeful and I'm feeling positive about the future of this country. I don't know how you're feeling, Alex, but
Oh, yeah.
it's just been
It
great.
feels so good. It feels so good. I mean, like, literal, every week, it's like, "What's gonna happen next? Who's gonna like, who in our government's gonna get COVID next?" And all that. It was, like, always a stressful thing, and now I just feel like there's a plan. I feel like
Exactly.
people are working for us and not
Mhm.
against
Against
us.
us.
It feels good.
Yes, and that is hugely in part because Joe Biden was sworn in as the 46th president of the United States on January 20th. Kamala Harris made history as the first female, first Black, and first Asian person to be VP, which is very exciting. And she was
Yes.
sworn in by someone very special. She was sworn in by Sonia Sotomayor, who was the first Latina Supreme Court justice. So, I mean, Alex, I want to ask you, like, how did you feel like watching her get sworn in? It was just such a picture watching her get sworn in, a person of
Mhm.
color, a woman, person of color, getting sworn in by another historic woman who has so much power. It was just like it genuinely gave me chills and like I started tearing up
Yes.
and it genuinely moved me. So like how did you feel when you were watching that?
Totally, I mean, that was the part that made me cry. I was watching and
Mhm,
I was just like, "This is history." Like, we're literally a part of history, and
mhm.
finally, it's, like, good history. It's not, like, something horrible
Exactly.
happening. It's like, "Yes, like, I want to be here. I'm so happy to see
Mhm,
this." But also, in a way, like, I feel like it also hasn't hit me yet. I feel
mhm.
like it feels so natural that she would be the VP.
Yeah,
And so I feel like it almost hasn't hit me yet that, like, a woman of color, like, she's the first one because I'm like, "Why hasn't this been happening the whole time?"
I agree with you. And it was also just like
Mhm.
such a contrast from the last administration. Like I think so many things that happened during the inauguration were so monumentous and were just such a contrast with the last administration. We'll get to some of it ahead, but yeah, it was a really special moment and it's just like I think so many people could see themselves in that moment. Like, I'm a Latina, so seeing myself represented on there and like, people seeing if they're like Black or Asian and seeing themselves represented, it was just so amazing. So that was one of the standout moments. Another standout moment was 22-year-old Amanda Gorman, who crowned herself as the voice of the ages. Her poem, The Hill We Climb, reminded America of what poetry can do, and she really gave everyone hope, I think. And I wanted to share a few lines from her poem.
Laid the hill we climb if only we dare it, because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it.
And I think that that was one of I mean, the poem was very good. If you didn't watch it live, I recommend you go listen to it right now. It was very moving, but I think that little line really stuck to me because it was just like, yeah, like there's a lot that's happened the past 4 years, the past centuries of this country, but now it's about moving forward and it's not about looking to the past. And it's about how we can improve
Mhm.
together as a country and trust the people that we've elected and hope for the best of everyone that they do good because it's if they succeed, we all succeed as a country. How did you like
Definitely.
Amanda's poem?
Oh, no, it's so true, and it's, like, it's just beautiful to see, like, arts represented like that. Like, a young person so powerful,
Mhm,
so, like, such an artist. Like, it's so cool
exactly.
to see, and I feel like that's such a case in point of why we need to fund arts and support arts for young people too.
Yes, and another person being represented. I mean, a young Black
Yes.
poet, she went to Harvard, and I think the outfit she wore was great. She like how she wore her hair,
Yes.
everything was very symbolic, and I loved it. And of course, another stand-up moment, how can we forget our boy Bernie Sanders?
Yes! Oh my gosh, it's so good. It was
The
so
memes.
good.
I can't with the memes. Which one is your favorite? I mean, there's a whole bunch.
Oh, there's so many, and for those who don't know, it's literally him sitting. I'm sure there's a picture up right now of him doing it, him sitting like this with his little mittens.
Mittens.
I think the best one I saw, like, Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think. There was the one, okay, you know the one of the like insurrectionists at the Capitol, and he was like stealing the like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
big thing or whatever, and someone put like Bernie in
Bernie?
that position, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's so funny." It was so good.
That was a good one. My favorite one is I think there's one of Beyoncé performing, and it's like Bernie
Uh,
sitting like down, and then Beyonce's like on him.
I
And he's
love
just like,
that.
and I like love it.
Oh my god, that made me think there was another, and it was like, turns out Bernie's one less lonely girl, and it was like Justin Bieber singing to Bernie. It was so good.
Wait, I love, and he also went on Seth Meyers and started talking about the memes, and he's like, "Yeah, I've seen them all. I think they're hilarious." He's just so adorable and wholesome.
Okay, and also his team acted quick because they released on his website a sweatshirt that has him like that picture of him sitting on it. It was $45. I bought one, of course. It was
Wait, I'm buying one.
$45. Yeah, you have to buy one. 100% of the proceeds are going to Vermont Meals on Wheels too. So it's like for a good cause. It's a cool sweatshirt. I think it's history. You know, I'm always willing to buy merch if it is history.
Oh, and
So
it's
I
going
did
for a
it.
good cause. Okay, well, Imma buy it. We'll wear it one day during the show.
Yes.
We'll talk.
Yes, we can match one day and be like, so good. Well, now we'll talk about Biden's first week. I mean, as of our recording, he's been in office like what, 3 days now? And already so
Yeah.
much has happened. Like, literally, his first day, he signed what, like 20 or 30 executive
15? The first,
orders?
I think first day was 15 or
Yeah.
17 executive orders. Yeah. He got to
And
business.
I think now, yeah, and I think now he's at about 30. So some of those include he already joined the Paris Climate Agreement, he already rejoined the World Health Organization, he already ended the Muslim travel ban, and so much more. We have a full list of his very first day on our Instagram if you go there at What a Week Show. But he's also taken so many actions since then, which I wanted to highlight a couple. One thing, obviously, COVID is so huge right now, and please, everyone, stay home if you can, wear your masks if you can't. But two things I want to point out specifically is Biden signed two orders specifically for COVID relief. One is going to increase food aid for children who rely on school foods. And then one is to promote raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour. So he
Wow.
promoted that. He signed orders promoting that. So hopefully we'll see that very soon. Another thing is he plans to give out 100 million vaccine shots in his first 100
100
days in
days.
office. Yeah, which for context, there's been about 20 million vaccine shots given out so far. So, I mean, that'd be great. Hopefully, we can see that very, very soon. I still think they're hoping to see everyone who wants to be vaccinated can be vaccinated by summer. As far as I saw, that's what Dr. Fauci is still saying. So, hopefully, very, very soon for all of us and everyone, hopefully, will get their vaccines so we can
Yeah.
move forward.
Yep. It's just good
That's
to
the
have a
hope.
plan.
Yes. And then another few things I wanted to highlight is he's just been creating such a more inclusive environment, I think, especially in the White House. One thing in particular I wanted to highlight is he added they, them pronouns to the White House
Yes.
website, which I think is so, because before it was just like she, like her and his, and now
Mhm.
it's prefer not to say they, them is added. So both of those options, which obviously that's a huge step to even like acknowledge gender
Mhm.
identity in an administration, which is amazing. Another thing, he signed an executive order on preventing and combating discrimination on the basis of gender identity or sexual orientation. And this order gives the government 100 days to identify and eliminate discriminatory policies and practices, as well as create a plan to ensure full implementation moving forward, which is awesome. And then another thing is he undid some of Trump's things, which include his expansion of immigration enforcement. So he undid that, and then he also halted construction of the border wall. So, I mean, we're seeing a lot of things. For people who said, what's the difference between the two? I mean, it's already, the case is clear. We're definitely moving forward, I think, which is absolutely amazing to see.
Yeah, I agree. It's just like just so many things, like so little. I don't want to say they're little wins because they're big wins, but it's just like it really puts it into perspective when he's like starting to roll back all the executive orders that Trump did. It's just like he like just in order to reverse a lot of the climate change stuff that Trump did, it has to be like 100 policies that he has to like reverse and just like
Right.
stopping construction of the border wall. I feel like people really haven't talked about that in a while because there's just been other
Mhm.
stuff like the pandemic going on that's been really taking
Right.
over the news or the election. He also wants to help find the families that were separated at the border, which is so important. And it's, you said it earlier, he really is trying to be a president for everyone. And I think he's trying to unite
Mhm.
everyone, and where Trump didn't really unite everyone.
Right.
So it's just a
For
nice
sure.
change. And I feel like he wants to make this country better for Republicans and Democrats, for people who voted for him and for
Mhm.
people who didn't, because there are a lot of Republicans who voted for Trump who are really hurting, who really aren't
Mhm.
making ends meet, who are close to foreclosure or getting evicted from their homes. So it's just like, uh, you know, people can criticize Biden. Everyone has a right to their opinion, but at least he's trying and he's making
Totally.
positive steps forward. And right now, that's all I need.
Totally. And I think a lot of people, especially a lot of young people and a lot of progressive people would have liked to see a more progressive president,
Mhm.
but I think right now, I think we kind of needed the step to Biden from Trump. Like I don't think we could
100%.
have gone from
Mm-mm.
like I don't think it was possible to go from Trump to Bernie, for example,
No,
but I
or
think we are
AOC.
moving forward. Yeah, or AOC, which would love by the
Yeah,
way, but I think we're moving forward in a positive direction, which is fine. It's so refreshing after 4 years of madness.
100% agree with you. 100% agree with you.